Hello.
Hi,
Hey.
everyone. Good afternoon, rather. I am Lamisha Staten, the Community Outreach Manager for the Guilford County Partnership for Children. It's so good to see all of you. We were just talking. It's good to see my colleagues on the screen this morning. We're just so grateful for our continued partnership, which helps to make this such a wonderful experience of walking together through this pandemic to make sure that we are responding to the needs of our community. We do recognize that one of the barriers of families during COVID 19 is employment. And regardless to our target populations that we serve, we know that addressing the issue around employment and making sure that our families are able to find gainful employment and to be able to sustain that employment and have additional resources that they need is so critical. That's why both the partnership and the YWC High Point, we are so grateful to partner with NC Works and NextGen um, for all of the services that they are able to provide to you and to us. We're just so grateful for everything that they have and all of the resources that they share with us each time that we are able to partner together. Today, we are so grateful to have Mr. Jeremiah McCafferty. He is with NC Works. He's going to talk to you a little bit more about his program. And today, he's going to be presenting on the topic of creating the perfect resume. And as you know, this is a part of our bi weekly series called Empowered for Employment, which will end up um, closing out on March 25th with a virtual job fair, a virtual career fair. So we're really excited about this opportunity today, Heidi. We're just so grateful to partner with you and to have this partnership together with you and Jeremiah and the rest of the team. And glad to see you this morning.
Felicia, well said. It is just, I so enjoy this time when we come together. And, it takes a partnership. And for our community, finding jobs, we want all of our individuals to get in and have that opportunity to get their interview. And who best not to take us there but NC Works. And so part of that to get there, we got to have that perfect resume and have it making looking good and sell yourself because you want to make it to that interview. So for all of our participants and community members that we serve here, and for those that NC Works and the partnership serve, let us know if you have any questions, if you need assistance. We want to see you succeed in 2021. So, Jeremiah, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi and Lumicia. And on behalf of NC Works, we are very grateful for the continued partnership as well and being able to come together to provide this, essential information. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to be talking about how to create the perfect resume and what that all entails, what you need to do to create that perfect resume. One of the things that's really important is in creating a resume is there is a digital applicant tracking system. And what that really is and what it's about is there are a lot of resumes that are going to employers. And so you want to ensure that your resume is specific to the job description that you're applying for. That digital applicant system is looking for keywords that have been identified perhaps in that job description. So, what is key when thinking about creating a resume is picking up on keywords and having that job description available so that you can ensure that you include that information. You need a specific job resume for each job that you're applying for typically. So today we're going to be covering that, how to, we're covering the components of best practices for creating a successful resume that can please the digital applicant tracking system, as well as hiring managers who will be granted the opportunity to interview you. They will typically have that interview, I mean, not interview, but that resume in that interview. So, how do we get there? So today we're going to be learning how to prepare an effective resume, learn what not to include in your resume, understanding how to market your skills and experience through a resume. So the importance of resume cannot be understated. You use that as a self-marketing tool that represent you, and at your best, you are your brand. So it's going to reflect your skills, qualifications, experience, education, and achievements. This is a self-marketing tool. So the agenda is to go over the basics of creating a resume, the profile summary, PAR statements, which you're going to define, and then the header as well, resume, different resume types, excuse me, and some keywords. It's very important. Here's the basics to only use the information on your resume from your last 10 years of work experience. You really don't want to go over a page when creating a resume. They employers have a lot of resumes that are going to review, and so you want to we're going to be talking about some keywords and how to really ensure that the resume is condensed and is precise. So you don't need to include every employer on the resume. You really want to emphasize the last 10 years of work and what's relevant to that job experience, that job that you're applying for, that interview. So you want to customize for every job opening. The purpose of a resume is to get the interview. There are several ways of formatting your resume, and there are a lot of different tools out there, which that can assist. And I'll give those, those websites here at the end. But you want to, other really important points is you want to close gaps in employment. You want to be professional, error-free, consistent, and concise. You also want to ensure that the resume is organized well, that it's effectively organized. You want to prioritize relevant information, consistent verb tense and formatting, and have one overall style. You don't want, the indentations to be off and whatnot. You want to make sure that it's lined. Don't include extraneous information. Don't lie or exaggerate on the resume. And you don't want to give out too much personal information. Don't use I or my. You want to don't list your references. Just kind of flesh it out. That's not really what a resume is about. Don't use niche or acronyms or abbreviations. Here's some preferred fonts for creating that resume. You want to use Arial, Verdana, Tahoma, or Calibri, not Times New Roman. That's an antiquated font. It's not as pleasing to read. The body of a resume should be no lower than a size 11 to 12 font size. So you want to keep that font in that range. Your name should be in between the 11 and 12 font size, and it should be bold so it's prominent and stands out. Again, you're selling yourself with this resume. You want to ensure that your margins are 1 inch all around, and keep in mind the visual appeal is very important. They're going to be looking at a lot of different resumes. You want to ensure that yours stands out and looks professional. And they really, because they receive so many resumes, they can be very critical about who they invite for interview. So just be careful. Other things on the header of your resume, you should include your name, address, phone, and email. They need a way to be able to get in contact with you. The name and page number on the second page, if you need a second page. Again, your name should be prominent. You would use the same header on cover letter and reference pages. So when you put your name, address, phone number, we're gonna go over an example of this. You would use that same kind of typeface consistently on a cover letter. Use a professional email address. This is so important. If you need to create a new email address because your email address is, I don't know, Sammy Sosa 123 at Yahoo or something inappropriate, make sure that you go ahead on and create a new one. It can be the first initial and the last name, or with numbers or whatnot, but make sure that it's professional. That is important. Here's an example of this. So Jennifer Job Seeker, that's her last name, 123 at address, road, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Information there about how to get in contact with her. She also put her LinkedIn profile on here. This is really important. If you have a LinkedIn profile, that's an opportunity for them to go elsewhere if they're really interested and review more about what your interests are, about what types of work you've done. So make sure that that's up to date and that it has your most recent employment where you've been working at and your skills on there as well. So there's some more information about how it can be on the left or center. This is the big at the start of the page. So yeah, the name there, the address, and the email address. The header, you want to include a professional tagline. You can include this. You may say construction project management, specializing in residential and light commercial. You don't really want to use that unless that is specific to the job that you're applying for. Um, if you're looking for a job in something else, that may be in, I don't know, plumbing, you wouldn't put that specialization there. You may put something that's more relevant to the job description. So again, law enforcement specialist offering 15 years of solid security, law enforcement, and staff management experience. This really sells yourself in that interview. This is based upon the job description that you'll be applying for. Medical technician, industrial hygiene technician, preventative medicine technician, dental technician. You may use that as a professional tagline, and it really just looks professional at the beginning of that resume. The profile of summary should include the most important information, including industry experience, skills, and results. The profile of summary should include job-focused information. It should be concise. Um, It also should indicate the number of years of experience you've had, credentials or education and training, key accomplishments, your key strengths or characteristics for the position, the scope and depth of your expertise, and a clear indication of the value you offer to that employer. And you really would know that if you study that job description. So the employer needs to know the value you're bringing to their company. They're invested in you, you're invested in them, and it's a true partnership. So be mindful of selling yourself the best. Here's a summary of the profile summary. The employers want to know that you understand their needs and what it is you can do for them. Your summary should be work centered, not self centered. And that is really, really critical. It should be work centered and not self centered. So, you don't want to include too much information to the hiring professional that could sound boisterous, but it's about what you can provide to that company. So think about that. Think about what's most important based upon that job description that you're reading, and then offer that as your profile summary. Um, Here's a strong profile, a summary example. You've had over 5 years of experience as a professional staffing specialist within workforce development, significantly increased employment placements by 25% over a 2 year period by partnering with major firms. That is key and critical. You were tracking your results and you were able to increase the employment placements by 25%. I want to talk to this individual because this is huge. So designed and implemented effective recruitment strategies resulting in 98% increase in vacancy placements. Using those numbers, people equate numbers with truth and validity. So as often as you can, begin tracking it and use that. So it really makes that profile, that summary strong. Next slide here. Avoid such phrases as responsible for or knowledgeable for. Use help and assisted, sparingly. A stronger example may be you reduce costs by 10% annually and added value to production operations. Keep your profile from being subjective. Quantify your skills, accomplishments, and skills by using data and objective terms. That's really, you want to express to the employer that you were great at completing the task successfully. And what a better way to do that than to quantify that information that you have. Use numbers. There are two resumes that we're going to talk about more deeply here. Chronological, which focuses on your work history, and then functional, which focuses on your skills. So we're going to be talking about the differences. You want to choose the one that best presents your skills and abilities to a prospective employer. With chronological, it's going to list work experiences in reverse order. It's going to describe job duties with bullets or phrases with accomplishments. It's going to list only the jobs within 10 years, and it's going to include position title, name of the employer, the location, city and state, and dates of employment. It's going to work best for those on a career path. It's going to show a logical progression of increased skills, responsibility, and professional advancement. So this is really your typical resume. It just, that professional summary, what you've done, the city, state of the employer, some details about, your expertise in that, that role. So this is typically you know, a ordinary or one of the most typical resumes that you have, the chronological. Here's an example. So here at the top, you have the name, the location of where that job seeker is. I have heard that sometimes applying to different jobs that may be in a different city, putting your address on there um, can maybe a barrier if you're applying in another city, perhaps, because that human resources may think, well, why would you drive an hour or 45 minutes away to work? So you may want to consider it not necessary always to include your address on there. Now, if it's something local, then it may be more appropriate. But you just want to think about that. I've heard of a situation where some person, did not, they rescinded the job offer just because based upon the address, and didn't really feel like that person may be able to be on call or local or whatnot. So you just think about that. So you have your professional summary here of this Joe, high ticket collector and culture specialist, the graduate of Fashion Institute of Technology with a Bachelor of Arts in Fashion Merchandising with over 10 years experience in serving clients with exquisite taste, exceptional working knowledge of merchandising and visual standards. This is a really good professional summary. He must be applying for a job. So you already get an idea of what he's applying for. Yeah, his experience here. He integrated new register functions to facilitate better tracking of sales and returns. This allows for seasonal forecasting and more effective selection of specialty boutique items. So I'm going to give you some information about how you can flesh out your work experience. And a good website is ONET that you can use to find more information about how to maybe reword or enhance the experience or really sell that in the best way on a resume. And that's, again, that's ONET, but I'll also cover that more here in a bit. The functional resume. This is a different type of work resume, and this is really, key for this workshop. The differences between the chronological and functional. The functional work resume works best for job seekers that have gaps in employment history, held various unrelated jobs in a short time, or same job title numerous times. So you got to make something out of something. You know, sometimes you have to do that and to really sell yourself on the resume when you worked a lot of odd jobs or dead end jobs, or all of them really weren't relevant. You're trying to work your way up and using what you got. Maybe a functional resume will work best if you return to the job market after an absence, or a career or industry change. So here it is, a functional resume sample. Got your name, got the address over there on the left, and that can also be centered. Certified billing and coding specialist. So he may be applying for a job, Amera Health, so in a healthcare provider. The highlights of his qualifications, you may really want to sell that if you know that your work experience is not necessarily adding all the way up. See, you have here at the bottom customer service, client services management, certified customer service specialist. He's selling really his skills and accomplishments for this certified, and it's relevant too. It works. It looks good because it's a customer service oriented, you know, and that's really key in that, you know, in that position. That's really important. So, medical expertise here on this second part. Prepare HCFA. You got some information that will probably, you know, appeal to the employer. I don't know what that means, but the employee probably knows, and that's what's important. You're talking the language. PAR statements, how to make a better statement, problem, action, and results. Instead of responsible for, this is really, you know, going over this part when you're talking about your professional experience. Instead of saying responsible for office filing system, you can say design. Look at that. And implement an innovative file management system to now that's funny. That sounds like he was doing something real thoughtful. Replace an antiquated system resulting in an increase in staff efficiency. And that's really true. It's about how you communicate that. It's the person who communicates well is really the one that land that job. Here's a weak statement. A successful builder of high performance teams that can address challenge, challenging client situations. That statement is vague and provides little sense of success, scale, or context. So be specific. So, what were the challenges with the situation? What steps you take to, remedy the challenge? What was the success story? People love success stories. After the interview is over, they remember that situation. They relate to that same problem that relates to that office environment. And so that could be, it doesn't matter if you're in a warehouse, you're experiencing some trouble or problem that you solve. Relate that, show your passion, show that information. And now we're talking about interviewing, but make sure that it's clear on that resume because that will relate to the employer on that resume. Here's some information about keywords. Present relevant experience using industry specific words and phrases. Use their lingo. Are key to job is are key to job descriptions whenever possible. Adequately describing skills and personal characteristics using key terms. Universal sample keywords. Communication skills. This is something that is important. Um, in any, I don't know, a job that communication skills is not important. If you're working with people or a team or even working with yourself, you got to be able to communicate. Problem solving, teamwork, leadership, resource optimization, being able to source, assistance, hmm, partnership engagement, business development. Hmm. Great. The ONET online. The ONET, this is an incredible resource. The ONET has a detailed description for jobs for use for job seekers, workforce development, HR professionals. You can just go to this website here and type in a specific field or whatnot that you're looking for or a job that you may accomplish, be it customer service, and it has the key phrases. It has pretty much a good resume on there that you can use and modify it a little bit and put it on your resume. And it's just, someone has thought really carefully about some good phrases, some good sentences used on your resume. So consider that source, onetonline.org. And there's also some good information there too about, salaries, about the bright outlook of employment opportunities in a specific field. So check it out. It's good. Education and training. You want to list before or after work history, depending on the position. You want to include your certifications on the job training and licenses, especially if it's something that revolves around that job. Now, if it's, you're working with children, your CPR credentials should definitely be on there or whatnot if you have them. If currently enrolled in a course, stay in progress. Currently enrolled or 2012 to present if the field of study is related to the position. You want to put on there what's relevant. Include only those of the following sections that apply to the target job objective: professional development, accomplishments, awards, recognition, volunteer community involvement, affiliations, memberships, So we're getting now here closer to the final section of the resume. You want to include this information, especially if it's relevant to that job description. If you're working in, if you're applying for Habitat for Humanity, you definitely want to include information about your volunteer work, or maybe working with communities and schools, or shelters or pantry. Include that information. It really, you never know who's reading that connects with you and the work that you're doing and volunteering. Um, in summary, you want to use proper formatting. There are never different resume types that you can use. There's resume builder websites that you can, they ask you the questions about, your work experience, about your professional summary, and you type it in there, and it create different resumes for you, and show you all different kind of styles with colors and pictures and all kinds of stuff. Put your picture on there and everything. So, it's just all about, but you should know how to, the basics of creating a resume yourself. But, if you're looking for a job and your bills is calling for you to find one immediately, you may want to find you some resources. So using the ONET, use the Resume Builder websites, come down to NC Works Career Center. You can work with a career advisor, and that's really key because we're going to be sending some job leads to you, and we have that information available as well. Be specific in stating your outcomes and results in summary. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them. You can always reach out to us at NC Works Career Center. We provide career readiness services for individuals, including paying for trades and employment gaps in Guilford County. So we receive workforce information about where employment jobs are, who's hiring the most, and really what is the trajectory, what is the projected growth of employment opportunities. And we really want to help you get aligned with the training, with the resume and interviewing, all that total package. We're a one-stop career center. We provide these career services for you for free. So if you're interested in, there's an eligibility. So, if you're interested in seeing if you're qualified or you have more questions about it, you should stop by the Career Center, NC Works, 607 Idle Street, or in High Point, or 2301 West Meadowview Road. You can just Google NC Works or reach out to us, me at 336-270-9054, and we'll get you situated. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to our facilitators, either Heidi or Lumicia, for to wrap up here and see if we have any questions.
What great information, Jeremiah. So one question that has come in is, you know, the best way, and I know you had mentioned this, and so maybe you could put it in the chat. But Jennifer's name again, there was a name on a slide of a contact person that can help with the resume.
Oh, Jennifer, that Jennifer was a person who had completed. That was an example of a resume. So we
Oh,
just,
okay. So,
yeah, that was just an example. But if you want to get in touch with someone about the NC Works Next Gen and the services that we provide, we have career advisors, talent engagement individuals that can help match your employment opportunity with what you're looking for. Get you situated. Business services representative, 336-882-4141. Just Google NC Works, Guilford County. We have two offices, Greensboro and High Point. So you can find another number for Greensboro, 336-297-9444.
great. Thank you for that clarification on that, and definitely for the numbers to be able to get in contact with you great folks over at NC Works. So, Lamicia, did you have any on your end?
I didn't, but I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I like the way you broke down, Jeremiah, for us, how, for example, a functional resume versus a chronological, how it may, whichever resume may work for individual people based on their experiences. So those that have longer gaps of employment, this resume might work better for you, that type of thing. And then also the reference to, was it called OnNet?
ONET, yes.
Okay. Can you give that to us one more time, that website, and we can drop that in the chat.
Yes, I sure will. It's ONET online. I believe it's .org. ONET.org. And let me just double check it here. Um, you can Google ONET, and it will pop up, and it is onetonline.org, and loads of information there about personality assessments, about what career best for you, about how jobs are growing, and then also those bullets and information about different somebody's already thought about what looks good on the resume and what more you can put on your resume. They didn't thought about it.
Right.
I just love the way you really discussed, because this is, as an employer, it's really important for individuals to personalize that, to talk the language, to give a sense that you know about the industry that you're applying in. And maybe it's a new industry for you. Take time to maybe seek someone out to talk about that and do your research. That's so important. But I love how you talked about that, because Jeremiah, as when I'm looking at resumes, I can tell you that's one thing that I look for is, do people really know what we're doing here in this industry? So awesome information.
Well, who's better to hear from than a hiring manager?
Absolutely.
That's so great. And you brought out a point that I feel like I missed or didn't even touch on as much as do your research and go to that website and find out more about that mission statements. And you have the opportunity to put that information in, with using that resume, and you have the opportunity to key it in there. You also have some talking points. If you focus on a couple of resumes that you're doing a week, instead of just clicking buttons on Indeed.com, I'm telling you, using this process of getting your resume, your cover letter up to date, you will have better success by making it specific and just taking a little bit more time to ensure that it's accurate and right. It appeals more.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's wonderful.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I was reading this morning, for example, I believe it was on the city of Greensboro's website, where different companies that are getting ready to come to East Greensboro. So, for example, Publix, and I think there are some others. So, do you know of any other jobs that are in high demand right now, Jeremiah, or do you foresee any that's coming? And how can folks find out about even more about these opportunities?
That is a great question, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I am pulling up here a virtual hiring event that you can tap into. Let me just share my screen here really quickly so that you guys can. There we go. This virtual hiring event. So here at giftedworks.org, Amanda, a Miracle, we're going to be having a virtual hiring event next Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This company is hiring for assembler, CNC machinist, painter, and logistics material handler, logistics supervisor. Um, to really, so you can, they're looking to hire 45 to 50 individuals to join their team. You can go to this website here. It's virtual. Premier Virtual is the platform that we're using. You put in your information, log in, and you can present your resume, and you want to have an employer available to chat with and express your experience. Now, to respond directly to your question, Lumicia,
Mhm.
about I'm so sorry if Lumikia, I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But employers that are hiring and where jobs are going is healthcare. Cone Health and Wake Forest Baptist Health are the largest employers here in Gifford County. You got Gifford County Schools. You have a number of other manufacturing sorts of jobs, and I'm going to also pull that information. But healthcare is where it's at. And I'm going to if you give me one more second here, I'm going to share this screen with you. And this is going to be good for you too, because you need to know about where employment opportunities are. So you see here, Cone Health hired in the last 90 days, 570 employees.
Wow.
Gifford County Schools, 358. GTCC 319, North Carolina A&T State University 118, Dollar Tree, UNC at Greensboro, Corvo. I'm quite sure that's manufacturing. The types of jobs, registered nursing, CDLs, that's a training that we sponsor. It's 8 weeks. It's GTCC, first line supervisor, food prep. So if you just Google this information, and you'll find more information. A lot of this comes from ONET too as well. Retail salesperson, teachers, customer services representatives. So you see that we're growing in jobs. There are more jobs now that by the month. It's it ain't all there yet, but it's coming.
Hmm. That's so helpful to see. And we would encourage, we know during this time of the day, sometimes it's hard for folks to jump on these live events during this time because they're preparing for lunch or other things. But we would encourage folks that if you're watching the video today or have an opportunity to take advantage of this, to please share it. Please share with any friends that you know that are looking for employment at this time, or families. You can copy the link and put it in an email even to share with them. This was wonderful information that Jeremiah shared today with us on resumes and jobs that are hiring in Guilford County, and the even upcoming virtual hiring event. Is wonderful information. I'm sure, Heidi, we can go back and put this in the comments for folks to see and be able to click on later on in the day. You're on mute, Heidi. I'm sorry.
What's great is we actually have another wonderful workshop coming up with our partnership on February 4th. And this time it's going to be interviewing skills. So we're getting those resumes ready. If you want somebody to look over them, be sure to contact NC Works. They are there to help and support because they want to see you get into that interview. These virtual online opportunities that Jeremiah has said are amazing, and they're great opportunities for individuals to get in and get those jobs now. There are jobs to be filled. So NC Works and their team have a lot of support, and we, like Lamisha said, please share this because you probably know a few folks that might need some support. So
Thank you guys so
thank y'all
much.
for joining us.
Thank
Yeah, you
you.
guys have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you.